If you're selling something big and selling something expensive, you can't just show them ads and tell them to buy it right away. You have to take them on a journey which I called a funnel. Today in this episode, I'll take you through my funneling process for a high ticket item. So let's dive in. So as part of the case study that we're working on, we are taking the example of a marketing leadership program by Emerius. This is from the Kelloggs University. So basically what we're right now trying to do is to create a marketing plan around how would you basically go about the paid media plan or the strategy for this particular course. This course, if you look at the landing page, this is the landing page of the course. It's a accelerated marketing leadership program, 6 months duration, costing you almost like $9,000, and there are lots of information around the course, what you will be getting. There's an option to download the brochure here. There's some learning journeys that they've sort of mentioned as to how the program will entail, what all the program will entail basically. And some of the modules that they'll be covering, and some case studies, student base, testimonials, and alumni. This is the final certificate that you'll be getting. Okay, so I will be commenting less on the landing page optimizations, but mostly covering what all optimizations that we need to do on the funnel side of things, right? So broadly, we'll be taking you through 4 topics. The first one being the paid marketing strategy. The second is the ad strategy. The third one is the targeting and the channel details, and the fourth one is the workings of the key metrics without actually getting hold of the account. So for the funnel, what we have done is we have basically divided the entire funnel into 4 parts: the cold, warm, hot, and existing customers. The cold stage, meaning people right now here who are in the cold stage, they have not engaged and they have not clicked onto the landing page. So here what we are right now, you could say it's mostly brand awareness stage. We will be objectives of the campaign that we will be choosing will be around video views, paper engagement. Conversion will also be there, but it will not be primary objective. We will be basically covering all the broad demographics, interest, behavior, lookalike audience. The exclusions will be, you can leave the exclusion bit for now. I'll explain you how that works. And imagine these to be a series of videos that you will show to people who could be interested in such a product. Here we're not actively selling the product. We're just showing what this course can do for you. For the placements or the channel, we are right now utilizing Facebook, Instagram, mobile and desktop, and including some bit of LinkedIn and Google Display Network. I've also highlighted some angles that you could probably use for this. So if you talk about the emotional hooks, you could basically talk about the career opportunities that a person will get after doing the course to become a C-level executive. In marketing, there are functional benefits of higher salary and growth. There are hooks that we will be utilizing. These hooks are for people who are not interested in buying the program at this point in time, but can opt in for things like scholarship, free micro courses that we can give, and the brochure download that we already see on the landing page. We will be dedicating almost 70% of the budget here because this is the top of the funnel. We need as much of audience here as possible. Then the second stage is the warm audience. This is people who have engaged with the videos, people are who are your fan base, people who have engaged with the post, and people who viewed these videos that you've showed to the cold, stage people to a good amount of extent. So people who watched like 50% of that video can be treated as the warm audience. The objective here is to convince them, to build a rapport with them, to build trust with them. And optimizations will be basically, we'll be targeting through video views. We will be people who have engaged but not purchased. As far as the Google Sheet is concerned, I'll be linking this in the comments so that you can access this later also. So a lot of links that are already present on the Google Sheet, don't worry about it. I'll paste the link to the entire spreadsheet and the links so that you can easily follow along. In terms of the objectives that we want to sort of portray to people who are in the warm stage, we will be showing the benefits, the testimonials, and basically trying to convince them to essentially now go for this course, right? Angles that we can play on the creators would be around learning from one of the best universities for a marketing leadership curriculum. You can learn from online classes from one of the best professors in marketing, leadership marketing out there. Then access a global network of alumni and creative collaborators, and real life case studies that you'll be working in the course. We'll be talking about all these pointers as part of the hooks in the ad copies that we'll be showing to now the warm audience. I have also included here, like you could go for a test to win up to like $1,000 in scholarships, and the budget estimation for this is 10 to 20%, because a large part of what we are right now doing is we'll be showing the cold ad as much as possible. You could and then funnel people down into this particular audience. You could do like 60% here, you could do like a little more here, but broadly you will be this will be the estimated budget that you will be using. As far as a hot audience, now here people have clicked on your landing pages, they've not purchased it. We'll be infusing trust, social proof, FOMO, these sort of tactics that we will be using. Don't worry if this all is not making too much sense here. I'll go through the entire process in detail in later part of the video. Here, just follow along from a very high level perspective on what we want to sort of achieve here. In terms of the lookalike, in terms of the audience for the hot page, we will be targeting the opt-in page. So opt-in is anything that you can sort of get the lead for. So you could talk about scholarships, you could talk about webinars as prospective opt-in tactics. There's a webinar that we will be using as part of the flow. There's enrollment page. So people who are clicking on the enrollment page, they want to apply. So enrollment page could be people who click on the apply now button here, right? So people who've clicked on this could be considered pretty hot. People who are top 25% of the blog visitors could be a good audience to rather retarget here. Here what we are right now doing is we will be handling objections and creating some urgency. So there's a complimentary 1-year subscription to the Wall Street Journal that these guys are offering. And that is something that we could promote. There are testimonials. Again, a lot of what you will be promoting in the warm stage will follow along on the hot stage. It's just that maybe a little more FOMO element will come in when it comes to targeting the hot people, which will be a subset of the warm audience. 10 to 15% of the budget here. So if you look at the exclusions now, funnel exclusion. So basically, whenever we're targeting cold audience, we don't want the warm, hot, and existing to be a part of the audience because we are separately targeting that. In terms of warm, we don't want the hot and the existing, and so on and so forth. If you're targeting hot, you would not want existing audience to be a part of that. And existing customers are the customers that you've already purchased this course from you. The general framework of hot, warm, and cold, you can apply to your business also. It's just that I've taken this high ticket item for you to for me to make a point that this if you're selling high ticket items, the funnel needs to be a little more complicated, a little more in depth. If you're selling low ticket items, you would not want to go into as much details as I am going into, because you would not have the budget to retarget that audience again and again if you're selling like $10 thing, right? From the existing customers, we need repeat purchases, we need referrals. For people who purchase the course like a 1 or 2 months back, we could ask for referrals. People who purchase like a 1 year back, we could try and cross-sell other courses to those people. 5 to 10% of the budget will go here, nothing too complicated. So if I were to actually tell you how this entire thing will play out, this is how the traffic flow is going to be, right? So first up, people will be coming as cold, right? They will be watching your video. They will then convert into warm audience depending on to what extent have they really watched your video. So people who basically come into cold traffic, we are showing them ads to go for a micro course, scholarship test, brochure downloads, things like that, trying to convince them that this is a new course that can help you make your or pave your path towards the top in the marketing or the C-level executive in the marketing department. Once the people directly opt in or watches a video, we remarket them to again do the opt-ins. People who don't opt in are retargeted to do the opt-ins. People who have opted in can travel directly to the application form page. So if here they're downloading a brochure, you could download a brochure here, and then this entire information is basically taking you to the next part of the funnel, which is you can schedule a call with the advisor, or save on program pay on with referrals, or apply now. So you could go further into the funnel by opting in. This opt-in was for the brochure. We could use different micro courses, scholarships, and things like that for that. Once the person opt-ins, we are sending them sales enablement, which is essentially the person calling them and trying to tell them, okay, this is why this course is important for you, things like that. So sales team can kick in right now. There's a lot of marketing automation that can come through emails, WhatsApp, SMS, and push notification drips. Basically here, then again, the hook is on the webinar. The webinar is, I've given an example of the webinar that you could basically use. So path of a C-level marketing executive, talking about what that part looks like, how do you pay, how do you level up your growth in a company in the marketing department. This webinar will again help people funnel them down into the Kellogg's application form, right? In terms of the broader advertisement strategy, the avatar that I'm using is mid-career marketing marketeers in the targeted demographics. The demographics are mentioned here. I'll take you through that later half. But right now, the sort of the model that I've used for the ad strategy is called IDA. I think you might have already heard of it. It's attention, interest, desire, and action. Basically, we want to first capture the attention of the user. So that is where we're talking about want to get to the top of the marketing, want to chart your career to the C-suite, want Kelloggs School of Management alumni status. These are the hooks that you could possibly use to gain their attention. The next part of the piece is on the interest. So we want to target people's interests and tell them, okay, this is the problem and this is the solution. The problem is marketers that aren't able to grow fast in their career lack the following. It's an end-to-end perspective on modern marketing operating models, critical leadership thinking, understanding of tools for automation and AI, and usage of response-based segmentation. All these problems, if you have the landing page for a particular page, the content team might have already thought about it. So you would have good amount of ideas as to what to put here, basis a lot of hooks that you might be already using on your landing page. So landing page can act like a good guide for you to pick up points for the interest segment. The desire is the desired state that you want the user to be in after he takes your course. So imagine getting live online training from Kelloggs School of Management with real marketing case studies, action planning, with feedback. This is where you want the user to, this is the desired state of the user. You could also talk about here some bit of, imagine being a C-level executive in your company. Okay. Then the action. The action is basically what you want the user to do after he has gone through your ad. So apply now for a free online course on marketing leadership. Webinar is another thing that you could use. There's Kellogg Accelerated Marketing Leadership Program. So this program basically, this CTA will help you download the brochure. There's a complimentary 1-year subscription that could act like a secondary hook to it, and the scholarship. In terms of objections, right? If you're talking about objections, there are 3 objections that a person would have right now. We will be talking to the users to understand which objection is the most prevalent one, and how do you then talk about that in your marketing efforts. The first one is the cost objection. So cost of a full-time marketing leadership program could be as high as like $10,000. Here you're getting it at $100,000. This is like $10,000, right? Salary of a C-level executive, you could talk about what your salary could be after you go through this course. There's quality objection. So the way to counter quality objection is you talk about the branding of the university, the professor that will be teaching you, the alumni that have already gone through the course, where have they been placed, what are they doing in their career, and the testimonials. There are time-based objections. So a person might just think, I don't want to invest so much of time. I don't have so much time rather for a course like this. So you could talk about the entire course is like a 6-month program. You have to devote not more than 4 to 6 hours for this. And this is what the current ad looks like. If you look at the ad, they're talking about the fees here. I'm not sure why. And they're talking about, the fact that a person can gain executive skills. I'm sure we can do better here. Next up, I think I've done a small bit of research on some of the keywords that you would use as part of the search advertisement here. It's United States that you will be targeting. Page is again the same. You feed in this page on AdWords Keyword Planner, you'll get in some keywords. What I've done is here, if you look at the formula is basically if search for marketing, Kelloggs or leadership, all these three are the important keywords that I need. And if yes, then filter the yes column and basically find the average CPC. This will come handy when we are right now figuring out what the key metrics will be. But for now, I think the broadest thing is to find out the relevant keywords and find out what's the average CPC for these keywords. Pointers to note while you are executing these AdWords, these Google ads. One is the keyword grouping with respect to the intent of the user. The second is new versus existing campaigns that you would want to sort of separate it out. RLSA bidding. So also combining that with social audience. So what I mean by this is you could retarget a lot of people on search through intent-based marketing on, let's say, LinkedIn, right? You have to divide your exact phrase and broad campaigns separately, combining in-market and remarketing on display. Then you could use custom audience to target search queries on video campaigns. So this is pretty interesting. You could basically find out all these keywords. People who are searching for all these keywords on YouTube, you could target them through YouTube. Or even people who are searching these on Google, you could target them on YouTube through your video advertisement that is much cheaper. Then there are dynamic landing pages that you could use for target audience and for higher relevance. Utilizing videos on GDN. So a lot of people don't use videos on Google Display Network. Here, what we are right now propagating is if you use videos, you'll have a better click-throughs and better branding, I would say, better engagement also. Target audience. So in terms of the continents, I just had a look at the international student segment for Kellogg's. You would find that these basically these are the countries that people send their students to. In terms of continents, you would find that here only. These are the major continents that people come from when they are coming to. So this is in terms of experience, you would find it here only. So I've just copy pasted that. Nothing too complicated. In terms of age, 25 to 45 I feel is the right age to target. In terms of location, country wise, you could go through these are the most educated states in the United States, so you could target these. And also apart from that, if you look at the other states that I've mentioned here, basically that is coming from the international student statistics for Northwestern University, right? So here you could basically use the same statistics and target these countries. What's interesting here is how the cold targeting will work across different platforms. In Facebook and Instagram, I've also written the TAM of audiences that I could find. So on Facebook and Instagram, you could target people who are having marketing in their job titles, interested in business and finance, marketing strategy, and marketing automation. Interested in Kelloggs School of Management. In terms of search, you have brand-related search, responsive text ads to sort of play with. You have Kellogg's marketing leadership program-related searches. You have searches related to the marketing leadership program in general. Then RSLAs with custom audience and competitor keyword searches. On Google Display Network, you could do custom affinity with some of the other similar courses. You could do business education as an interest. You could do display and video keywords as on search. As this is similar to what I was talking about earlier. Then there's people who are reading educational content on marketing. You could target them on display. On YouTube, you could target people who are watching educational content on marketing, people who are watching podcasts, people who are interested in Kellogg management courses. These are things that you could easily find on channel and video specific targeting that you could do on YouTube to find relevant audience. LinkedIn being very relevant, you can have functional marketing leaders already with these following designations that you could target. You could target career marketers with these designations. Then you could do member interest, open to education and job seekers who might be interested in taking a course. Then marketing and advertising as an interest or field of study. Then there is field of study is marketing, company size is 51 or more. I think people who are in bigger companies tend to have that objective of going to a C-level executive, of becoming a C-level executive. That's the reason I've taken company sizes of 51 and more. Cross-channel and remarketing, this is very interesting. If you look at the cold audience, you could these are the lookalike audiences that you could target as part of the cold. So you could target people who are already visiting the leadership program page, rather the similar audience, lookalike audience of the people who are visiting the page, people who are clicking the apply now button, downloading the brochure, people who are opting in the webinar course or the scholarship, people via email list, so people who are opting in. Similar to that audience, I want to target as cold. Then there is I think this should be 10 RFM. So people who have purchase value of over 12 months, they have spent like more than $10,000. You could do 5,000 was too less, I feel. So 10,000 and more, you could do an RFM segmentation for. Then people who have engagement, people who have shown engagement on custom audience, you could lookalike of that is one potential audience. Then there is people who have retargeting the custom audience as in the hot one below. Then there are lookalike of top 25, top 10% of users that you might have through this could be basis your average time spent, your number of pages that they are viewing. Then there is targeting tags on the basis of so if you think that search campaigns are very relevant, you could target lookalike of that particular audience. LinkedIn is one thing that you could definitely do lookalikes for, because it'll give you very direct traffic, very niche, very targeted traffic of people who are in the marketing field. People who are watching a webinar, more than like 25% of the webinar, you could definitely do like a lookalike of that, because that's a very niche, very targeted, very specific, very high intent audience. Lookalike responded to a message sequence. So if you're on Facebook doing messenger ads, right, and people who are responding to that, that's another. Third party sources. So if you're having data from some third party data partner, you could utilize lookalike of that. If you look at custom audience, there's video views, people who are watching your cold video for like 25, 50, 75, 95, 10 seconds. These are quartile distributions and time-based segmentation that you could use to warm them up. Then there are people who engage with your post, people who opened lead form but did not submit. So these are basically something that we've already discussed before. I would not want to go through all of these. I think pretty self-explanatory. Then if you look at hot, then people who are already on the Kellogg's page, people who've visited blogs and other non-key pages, people who've spent good amount of time on your page, you could target them here. The lookalike we were targeting for cold, so the base audience you can target here. Then people who are visiting from like a particular device, so iPhone users tend to spend more, so you could target them. Combination of days prior visited, so if people have visited your page and not taken the course in the last 7 days, 14 days, 28 days, 40 days, like that, you could do RFM segmentation also on the basis of custom audience, and then people who have signed up, who have viewed your sign up page but not, or the form and not signed up, people who have been watching your webinar or the replays. That is also a good hot audience. Existing, it's pretty simple. For cross selling, you could do people who have purchased another product, or people who purchase a product, you could ask for referrals. Last up, this will be a little complicated, I can tell you, but if you hang on, I think it'll be easier for you to get a grasp of how do you actually project. So the objective here is to get 100 enrollments at $300,000 spent. This is also in dollars. Okay, I'll just mention it here. So if you look at this, you've spent, this is the distribution, all the things that you see in I could say this is light orange are the ones that I've assumed. Assumed variables are marked in this color. So this is the distribution. The reason I've distributed this budget, I have mentioned the reasons here. I spent maximum on Facebook because I think it's cheaper clicks with broad targeting that you could get. Then highest intent will be on search, so spend like $50,000, $30,000 on search, on GDN. Then YouTube branding is another $20,000. I'm not expecting anything to come out of it, just branding. Then LinkedIn, when I say nothing will come out of it, it's mostly from an attribution point of view. There will definitely be people who are coming from direct and organic who will be watching our YouTube video, but I am not attributing that traffic to YouTube. There's LinkedIn, 75,000 on LinkedIn. Lead to enrollment ratio, I've taken these and click to lead ratio, mostly these. This is partly coming from industry benchmarks, but also how Facebook performs vis-a-vis search or GDN or other platforms. So I've also given the links, the reasons why I've taken these assumptions. A large part of the assumptions also came from some links. So these are the links that I've utilized to figure out what the average CPC on LinkedIn will be for marketing professionals, which is going to be 6.80. And all these CPCs I've also assumed. If you see 14.07, this is coming from 14.07 here. As in when you include more keywords, this will change, but for the sake of assumption, I've done this. So basically what it does is through spends and CPC, you'll get how many clicks you get, dividing it. Then you get click to lead ratio by finding out how many leads. You assume the click to lead ratio and get the number of leads that you will get. You find the CPL, lead to enrollment ratio. Through these assumptions, you'll get the enrollments that you will get, the CAC that you will get, the revenue that you make, because one course is going to be like $1,500, or in this case, I think it's a little cheaper. I've okay, $8,740. And then you find the ROAS. So ROAS, this is return on ad spend. Basically, I calculate what's the revenue that we're getting and what's the cost. It's a simple division, and 3.16 is the ROAS for me right now. Yeah, so that's about it. I think this gives you a good perspective on how do you project certain things with assumptions, and how do you take those assumptions and finally get to a plan. If you have any questions regarding this, feel free to comment down below. There is some budget level allocation that I've mentioned here across week 1 to week 8, and the audience that we will be targeting existing will be consistent throughout. If you think I have taken something wrong, you want to maybe give me a better assumption on the CPCs or the links that I should refer, feel free to comment them down below. I would be happy to have a look. Thank you.